I have no reason to trust a Muslim from Pakistan, Afghanistan or Bangladesh, period. Because ultimately a choice was made, and despite 90% of the population of Muslim community before 1946 voting for the state of Pakistan, the bulk of them stayed back.
That's wrong.
That's a fact. It's a fact. It's a
not a fact. कि हिंदुस्तानी को हिंदुस्तान के सिटीजनशिप के लिए, नेचुरलाइजेशन के लिए खुद को पहले बांग्लादेशी प्रूव करना पड़ेगा.
Okay. I'll try and make sense of the garbled argument presented here and see if I can unpack a few layers from
garbled argument.
Yes.
Okay.
So first, see, here's the point.
Yeah.
Ever since the end of the LTTE, situation has normalized to such an extent that Tamil Sri Lankans are not being forced to flee that country. That is a fact. The fact of the matter is, if Bharat had an equation or at least the ability to pressurize Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan to the extent that they could treat their Hindu minorities with some degree of dignity, then the CAA would actually be irrelevant and unnecessary. Because ultimately, it's a question of what is your relationship with those countries, what is the treatment of those populations by their native governments. Today, nobody can accuse the Sri Lankan government of meting out the same treatment to Tamil Sri Lankans the way Hindus of Pakistan are being given treatment by Pakistan, Bangladesh or Afghanistan, so to speak, in those countries. So if you can ensure that they can stay in their own countries without creating any further trouble for themselves or for us, we would want them to stay there. So therefore, the entire argument is this, that Bharat must effectively apply an open dharamshala policy in the name of the CAA, and the CAA is unconstitutional precisely because it doesn't open its doors to every persecuted community under the sun. Frankly speaking, this makes a mockery of the concept of sovereignty and our own borders and our own sovereign interest and security interest. I have no reason to trust a Muslim from Pakistan, Afghanistan or Bangladesh, period. Because ultimately a choice was made, and therefore I will certainly view them with a certain degree of suspicion, a heightened degree of suspicion compared to people coming from the Hindu community in those states. That's a fact.
But the Hindus in Pakistan stayed back in Pakistan.
Here's the funny part.
The Hindus in Pakistan stayed back in Pakistan.
Their entire argument is, the Hindus of Pakistan stayed back. Why? Here's the point. When Pakistan was created, the question was, how do we divide land for this area called Pakistan? So the existing population of Muslims in this country in undivided Bharat was taken into account based on the 1946 elections, and then the area was divided. Despite 90% of the population of Muslim community before 1946 voting for the state of Pakistan, the bulk of them stayed back.
That's wrong.
That's a fact. It's a fact. It's a documented fact. You don't get to actually deny these facts.
It is out of context.
So today we are being told,
it loses in
we are being told everybody who stayed back for purposes of patriotism. Sorry, 1946 elections proved whose allegiance were where. Secondly, here's the important thing. The Hindus of
So you're talking about the 1946 elections and the results in the Muslim provinces where a large number of Muslims voted for
ultimately it's like this.
Muslim
Assume for a moment you have a 6-bedroom house.
Yes.
Out of that, one portion of the family says, we are X number of people, we need 50% of the house. Ultimately, only 2 people shift to that portion of the house which has been given for 50% of the family. The rest of them stay back. Now, because we are constantly told that Dr. Ambedkar is the framer of the Constitution, and we are expected to constantly kowtow to him, why would Dr. Ambedkar speak of a complete exchange of populations after 1946 and after the elections if he wasn't aware of the ground reality when he was actually part of the drafting committee of the Constitution? So why is it that Ambedkar is selectively quoted and cited in other contexts? Why don't we quote him in this context? What did he say in his book, Pakistan or the Partition of Bharat? What did he say with respect to the reasons for population change? Why did he actually bat so vociferously for population exchange more than even Madan Mohan Malviya for that matter? Madan Mohan Malviya is the founder of the Banaras Hindu University in 1916. These are all people who were participants in the Sangathan movement. The one who openly wrote a book asking for exchange of the Muslim population of Bharat with the Hindu population of undivided Pakistan, so to speak, was Dr. Ambedkar. What is the response to that? So if you have a problem with this argument, go ahead, call Dr. Ambedkar an Islamophobe. We'll see what happens after that.
No, I will not do that. I will not do that. Anyway, caste is a Western construct, my friend said earlier.
Fundamentally, there was a whole movement, as you know.
Let me put nuance to what he said.
No, they'll blame the two-nation theory on Savarkar and they'll leave Syed Ahmad Khan out of the picture.
Okay.
That will be the traditional argument.
When a man loses patience to listen, I know I have one.
Okay.
Okay.
Of course you have one.
Please.